So I saw a video on Facebook, but it's originally from TikTok, and it's of a lady who went on a certain, I don't know if it's like a group thingy where they're chatting and they are talking about Dr. Khehlelezi. I think I saw the post is from Nomasi Kiki. That's the account on TikTok that has it. So if you want to go listen to it, you can go listen to it over there. On here, we're going to try and help those that are outside that don't understand. But remember, the center of this channel is doctrine. And so that's what we're going to be talking about of this video, particularly about Dr. Khehlelezi. Dr. Khehlelezi is this man right here. He is, or he phrases himself as a pastor, but at the same time, it's quite interesting to remember that he is inyanga. He is a Sangoma. You can see him there. His eyes are all the way twisted in. All right. So what is this audio that I'm talking about? Or what was the conversation that this lady was having with someone? Now, this video, it's more or less for us who are believers, who are still let me say, for those that are still in doubt. Okay, so if you are still not sure, you are maybe still here and there trying to learn the faith, this video is made for you. It's the Actuality Show, daily Christian commentary videos. If it's the first time over here, to be sure to check out my other videos that are down in the pinned comments. And this is what this lady had to say. All right.
Yeah, mina bafowethu hayi umzongidlile kakhulu angifuna uqamba amanga.
She says, according to this audio, that she lost money while consulting.
Kanti bengimthemba kakhulu.
I trusted.
Kodwa futhi ke ngina anginankinga ngoba nginabo ubufakazi.
Says, I have proof, according to what she says. Now, this person who recorded this audio then clicks on this profile. I don't know if that was the profile which was calling in or something. PPC something. She says she has proof and something. I went to consult by 500 at Painville. So she was told after consulting, she wanted to further her business. I think she's in construction or something. And so she was told to come with 11,000 and something, Pangel, something like that. She went and came with it. She came with cash, 11,000 rands. She says who she went there with and the person who was counting for him, who works for him. So she needed to go through a cleansing ritual, according to what she said. She needed to go to a cleansing ritual in order for her things to kanya. To go nice. So there was something she needed. I think it's a chicken or something. So they had to go and buy it for her and bring it over. She went to do the ritual. She says their names. She did the ritual, she got clean. So from that 11,000, she was given stuff or products or whatever to go and use. So 1 week and then I think a month or so, she went back. And she's like, you know what? I haven't got the results. Mandems ain't got no results from what Mandems was kind of trying to achieve. Nothing is happening. I work for myself. I have a construction company.
amathenda njengosisi lo
I work with tenders and so forth.
bekhuluma. Wabe sethi kuzokufanele aphinde anginikeze ezinye futhi izinto.
Then he said, according to her, that he would have to go and give her some other stuff
Uzogeza futhi wabuye wanginika
to
futhi.
ritually,
Ayaphela inyanga ngapha.
for this ritual washing cleansing thing. And so that's what she was then going for again. Okay.
Buyela. Ngathi mina mfowethu akukho oluhlanganayo. Wathi ayimanje kushuthi into
So when they were trying to do all these things, or when she's trying to work with his timing and all these things that is happening, she's like, hey, you know what? It's difficult. I'm not getting anywhere. My business is not moving and stuff like that. And so, wagwan.
engcono ukuthi kufanele ngithole isigubhu.
So she was told she needs the skubu thing. Skubu is like a small little thing like this. And this is a lamb, you know. It's like load shedding. When load shedding hits, we read with this. So it's a small little calabash like this with herbs and whatnot. And they say that it is a spirit that brings wealth or something like that. And so she was told to get that. Now remember, he phrases himself as a pastor, but also dabbles, okay? Dawati? Yes, dabbles in ubunyanga, which is this ancestral stuff and calling of supposedly being called by your ancestors. So now she went to his church to get these things, and she was directed to diabolic things like iskubu, which have spirits.
Wasiyasichaza ke igubhu zakhe
He
engabone ngathi
explained.
ke singcono ngakwazi ukufinyelela kusona ilesa 85.
So the one that she thought she could afford was the 85,000 skubu,
Ngoba lezi ezinye ngoba ziyabiza lezi ezinye.
because the other ones are very expensive.
Okay, uba nokufaka inkonzo ke khona lapha ya eJozi. Sengikhohliwe nje la gama la
So there is even a church thing. So it's like a church area.
ndasithi kuyiwolo kodwa mangangena kuyoshupha ngayi screenshot leyawo.
Now, that's not really the part that I really wanted to kind of get across. First of all, it's note the setting it's done in church. So not every church you go to, it's a church that follows Christ. So if you wake up and you're thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to a church so and so and so, be careful where that church is and be careful what they practice. Because not all Mandams who are supposedly pastors mean that they are pastors. They follow other things. Okay? Just like we are seeing here, she went to a church for this entire setting, but very clear she wasn't going to a church, she was going for the consulting. When she gets there, she's given other things, she follows that. Now, I understand people have ambitions and whatnots, they have things that they have goals for and stuff. But notice the setting that's been used for that. It's in call. It's the faith. It's the Christian robes. He wears the Zioni robes. He wears the collar and the whole 9 khajers. He debates as one who holds the Bible one side while believing in his ancestors and all that kind of khajers. The setting is church. The setting is church. But the doctrine is very clear that there is something else that has nothing to do with church. People must beware. The things she said, she went back to try and consult so that they can fix. Yeah, she says things didn't go well. She ended up getting delayed. Nothing came off of it and whatnot. Personally, I'm not talking about. I'm not here talking about this practice that she's describing of consulting and whatnot. I'm talking about the setting. The setting is church. The setting, the idea is, it sounds like, oh yeah, they're doing it in a church, and so they supposedly pray, and so a person gets taken by this type of things, and they think nothing of the doctrine that's been taught. They don't think anything. The Bible doesn't direct us towards these particular rituals. We do baptism, we're done. Baptism also is symbolic of something. It's not just like, things are not working in my life, like this urgency to have things going your direction at a certain pace. And when those things don't happen, you need to consult. I mean, like the time period all by itself tells you a lot. She was waiting for like a week, But those are the kind of things that these people promise. They promise that, your things are just 30 days. Your things are just going to be flying high. And so she looked at the time clock and said, hey, 30 days is coming. Mom Dems is not seeing results. Wagwan. It's because people are being directed to something else. You are being directed to pursue your lust. You are being directed to pursue desires. Okay. But then the setting that's being used is church. This is why it's important for us to be clear and keep separation between the two, so that people are aware of the difference that's over there and the difference that the Bible gives us. Because if we are not clear, or if we don't keep communicating the difference between all of these things, you will not see the apostles going through these rituals. His success for, ritual for cleansing, for what. And then people come out and they make excuses like, no, Tina Sama Africa, we are Africans, so we do things different to the Europeans. You are all human. We have one God. Okay? Because you are born in one area and your culture dictates like this, and another person is born in a different area, their culture doesn't dictate that. The center point of it all is that God gave us a doctrine, and a doctrine tells you what to follow. But then people are taken to a church setting because they are not paying attention to doctrine. They are paying attention to every other thing, which be their desires for life and whatnot and all these things. They get dragged into these directions where there is nothing that has to do with church. It has nothing to do with church at that point. People should be wary, see these things, and walk the opposite direction. Because what you are seeing here, or what you are hearing, is the signs of something that is a completely... We don't know what it is. It's something. It's something, and it is something that has nothing to do with God. Person want to follow that, you can go ahead and follow that. But to claim that is God, that is of God, that is Bible, that's Christian, we don't know it. No, the Zion Church can explain what that's all about. I don't know nothing. The Zion Church can explain what that's all about. But biblically, like a person party Bible, a person who carries the Bible, looks at this, what is the first thing that comes to their mind? The setting, being a church, allows these things. So we just like to let you know, the setting of a church does not allow iskupu. Can a Christian have iskupu? What are you doing with a scoop? What are you doing with the scoop? Why? Because it means that you want to set the time yourself. When God hasn't given you that route, when you want to set the time, I want it now. If it doesn't happen now, you end up landing yourself in all kinds of troubles or with all kinds of spirits that are now, because you've gone out of your way in order to have things. So the setting is important. That's why we address it. We address it to so that people understand. When you get there and you hear the doctrine does not follow what you see in the Bible. You hear of all these things, all these other things. People have been sold scoopers, what, all these things. You are now dealing with a different spirit. You are now dealing with a different doctrine. And that's your heads up to say, get out of here. This is not a church. This has nothing to do with Jesus. This has nothing to do with salvation. This has nothing to do with God. It's other spirits. Only God knows what those spirits are. Because when at that time, your alertness is quite pretty low. We can't keep setting our own version and then make it Christian. I put out my own version, then this is Christian. It doesn't work like that. God has set out what Christian is. We have a doctrine that we follow. And outside of that, it is not of God. But that's up to you to decide whether that meets your criteria. Because, hey, you know what? Nowadays, people want to set their own. But it's Ricky's Reality Show. I thought this was quite an interesting one so that people can have a peek at what happens when we now put out our own standards for what the Bible or what everybody else should believe as Christian. When the setting says church, when you get there, question what you see on the basis of what doctrine you have been given, what doctrine you have been fed. Does it fit the model of which you see the apostles in the Bible moving by? If it is not about the Bible with you, then it's fine. I know you can keep going that direction. It's fine. But be very clear that what you are believing, when it does not follow the tenets of what the Bible puts out, you are following something else. It's not Christian.